Is this the most accessible drone on the planet? Spoiler, yes it is. This is the Hover Air X1, and although it is a drone, it would be more accurate to call it a flying selfie camera. For the most part, the drone is fully autonomous, and it is simply used to capture video of you. This is a drone that you can send up and forget about it, and it will follow you around and record video or pictures of you. For a content creator like myself, that is a one-man operation, this is gonna be fantastic. But this will also be great for the average consumer that wants to capture moments while on vacation. This is gonna be fantastic for that. But what about what I said at the beginning about its accessibility? Is this the most accessible drone on the market? Yes, it is, but we're gonna talk more about that here in a second. First, let's take a look at the Hover Air, and then we'll talk about what it can do. So it's a very simple design, and this is part of the appeal of this drone. Number one, the propellers are completely enclosed in this cage here. Touching it while the propellers are moving, it's no problem. You're not gonna get hurt. You have a camera on the front here that can record up to 2.7K. It's not on a gimbal or anything, although it does have some stabilization built in, mechanical stabilization, but the software throws in digital stabilization and it works really, really well. When you're not using the drone, it can fold in half, kind of like a book. When it's all folded up, it is super small. It's like a thick cell phone. And it even comes with a carrying bag, so you can toss this into a backpack. You can keep it in your pocket. This has internal memory. You do not need to install an SD card. I believe the internal memory is up to 32 gigabytes. You can actually get quite a few clips before you run out of storage, but it's super easy to offload those clips right into the app. The app itself is very accessible, and we're gonna talk about that here in a second, but here is why I say this is the most accessible drone on the planet, and that is because of the way you use it. Number one, you only have two buttons on the drone itself. You have a power button and a mode button. Long pressing the power button turns on the drone, and we'll get a little audio cue letting us know that it's turned on.
Current mode, follow.
And it speaks out loud the current mode we're in. This is fantastic. If you want to change your mode, you just press the mode button here.
Orbit.
Orbit.
Bird eye.
Bird eye. These are all different modes that you can choose, flight plans you can choose. Whenever you're ready to take off, you quickly press the power button, you hold the drone in your hand, it does this countdown and then takes off from your hand.
Continue. Hover.
Depending on what mode you choose, follow, orbit, bird's eye, it will complete that movement and then come back to you. Then whenever you are ready for it to land, you simply hold your hand out, palm side up. The drone flies over, comes down, and lands right in your hand. Honestly, you don't need vision at all in order to use this drone. It does have a companion app, like I mentioned, and you can change some of the settings for the flights in the app. But it's things like the altitude that the drone flies, the distance it flies from you. If you don't care about changing those settings, you just want to send it up, do a quick orbit around you and be done with it, you don't need the app at all. Press the button, listen to the mode, send it up, and get the shot that you want completely independently. It is awesome. Now, you might be wondering about some of the modes like the follow or the dolly track. These are modes where the drone is going to be following you or it's going to be in front of you recording you. And you might wonder, okay, well, how's that going to work if I can't see where it is? But guys, I tell you, I have tested this several times already and it just works. It just does what it's supposed to do. You can trust that the drone is where it's supposed to be, so you don't have to be able to see it. And then, like I said, when you're done, you stand there for a couple seconds, the drone sees that you're done, it comes back, you put your hand out, it lands right on your hand. And even that is accessible because you know where the drone's gonna be because as it's flying above your hand, you feel all that wind coming down. You know it's right above your hand. There we go. All right, we got you. Plus you can hear it. That's the other thing about this drone is, and all drones really, is they're pretty loud. This one's not too bad, but it is pretty loud. It's definitely noticeable. So you can track the sound of it. You know where it is in space just by the sound of it. All right, jumping into the app, let's take a look at some of the things you can do. Much like other applications, you have tabs. The first tab you're in is this social media style page. You can see other people's videos. You can share your videos, your typical community forum style. The second tab is all about your Hover Air. One thing I noticed right away that I was pretty impressed with is how quickly and easily it connects to the app. You can change the settings on it. You can see what videos are currently on the device. You can download those videos to your phone, and the download process is very fast and super easy.
Voiceover on. Hover X1. Flight settings. Hover. Video continue on. Zoom out. Video 20 feet rise. Follow. Video back figure continue orbit.
The third tab features all the different flight modes that you have available, and you have quite a lot. Plus, they're also adding new flight plans all the time. Apparently recently, just within the last couple of months, they added in the side tracking flight plan. So that's good to know that they're constantly updating this. You can get more information about each mode, each flight mode. You can see a really fun animation of what the flight will be. If you click into them even more, you can watch this little demonstration video so you can get an idea of what to expect. Then you can also customize some of the settings for that specific flight plan. For example, one of the ones is the bird's eye view, where the drone lifts straight up into the air and is recording straight down at you. Well, some of the things that you can change in the settings for that specific flight is how high it goes, 10 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet. You can also add a slow rotation to the drone to make it a little bit more cinematic. Then the last tab is just some settings, some information about the Hover Air, your specific device, the model number, that sort of thing. Now, by default, all of the videos are recorded without sound, but you can turn sound recording on. And the way that works is your phone that's running the app is actually what records the sound while the drone is up in the air.
All right. We are recording. So let's walk around a little bit. And it should be following me, and it is. It's right behind me. This is just an example of how you can record audio at the same time. It's not being recorded on the drone, it's being recorded on the phone. But this is just going to follow me around. I'm going to do a pretty big turn here so it stays behind me. And it's still back there. Hey, drone.
You can record in several different resolutions, 720, 1080, all the way up to 2.7K. And the footage is really good straight out of camera, but you can also color correct a little bit here and there if need be. Now, I mentioned that you are able to manually fly this drone a little bit. It's clearly not its primary function or purpose. I think they added it in just so that people could do it. But you do that through the app, and you have a little preview screen, and you can use on-screen controls here to fly the drone around. You can fly it around, and you can manipulate the camera angle. And it works. You can probably get some semi-cinematic shots that way, maybe some establishing shots. But just note that it's using Wi-Fi. The drone and the phone are talking to each other via Wi-Fi. So if the drone gets too far away, it loses contact. Now, I haven't had any problems using this with regards to the drone not following me or not doing what it's supposed to do. I have seen some other reviewers where people were on like electric bikes or scooters or motorcycles, and they got a little too far away. And in that situation, the drone essentially just stops in midair and sits there and waits. So that's a situation where not being able to see the drone might be a little bit of a disadvantage. But once again, you'll be able to hear it. If it sounds like it's getting further away, you might want to turn around and go back. Now, this doesn't have any kind of obstacle avoidance. Some drones will have that where they will go around trees and things like that. This does not have that, but it is following you. So as you wind around through trees, it does a pretty good job as well. but it's not perfect. The nice thing, once again, about having the propellers enclosed in a cage is it protects it if it does hit something. One of the best modes that's going to be great for us is just the basic hover. You put it up in the air and it locks in place and just hovers there watching you. And wherever you walk around, it follows you. It turns and follows you and keeps you in the center of the shot. I can think of a ton of situations recording my videos where that's going to be helpful. All right, guys, that is an overview of the Hover X1, the flying selfie camera. I think this thing is fantastic. I'm really excited to be able to use it for some of my content creation, and I hope you guys will think it's pretty cool too. I will have a link, Amazon link, in the video description down below. If you're interested, that will be an affiliate link, so I will get a small commission on the sales. It doesn't cost you anything extra, it just helps out the channel. I will go ahead and tell you the only downside to this is the price. This guy is a little pricey at right around $475. So you have been warned. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing and liking the video. I put out videos like this every single Saturday. That's it for this one, guys. Sam with The Blind Life. I will see you next time.